Hi, everybody. This is Dan Stolbarger. Welcome to our very first Middle East update for the new year, 2025. It's January 2nd. We're going to look back upon this last week, the things that transpired, and they are pretty monumental, as you know. Before we jump in, a reminder, make sure you get the PDF PowerPoint that accompanies this video. Pictures, more information, etc., etc. So grab that. It should just be a link on the YouTube page. Again, we always begin with remembering the hostages, 450 plus days in captivity. This last week, we prayed for Saswan, Al-Qaina, Sathian, Emily, Segev, Ayatar, and today Sherry Bibas. And we, no doubt, you know about the Bibas boys, and you've probably seen the video. So we're remembering them this week. We're continuing to pray that Jesus would open the prison doors and set the captives free. Just encourage you to go to my Facebook page, Dan Stolbarger. Each morning that I get up, first thing I do is to highlight one of the hostages and give you kind of a bio and ask you to commit time to praying for their release. So, Cherie Bibas today. News bites for this week. Okay, let's take a look at Syria. And the minister of Israel's position on that, Gideon Sa'ar, is basically saying, hey, the regime in Damascus, it's a gang. It's not a legitimate government. And so, once again, as we see the turmoil that's taking place, we know the roots, whether it's ISIS or Al-Qaeda, but these are not, quote, secure peace partners. Again, Gideon Sa'ar, it's a gang. It's not a legitimate government. And then once again, we'll talk about this again in a moment, but Hamas is changing the ceasefire arrangements again. They're refusing to release what was agreed upon as far as 34 hostages. They want to say, no, we're not going to give you that much. Of the 34, we'll release 12 dead bodies as well to make up for that. And so, the question is, and it's very simple, and we'll get into this as I mentioned, but if you want the Gaza war to end, it's pretty simple. Hamas needs to surrender, and they need to release the hostages. The war's over. Okay? Two major events in the Middle East. That's kind of a time bomb ticking. It's coming up. The first will be the expiration of the ceasefire agreement with Lebanon/Hezbollah. And then the second major thing will be the inauguration, of course, of Donald Trump as the U.S. president, and we'll see how all of this directly impacts the Israel of today. This is sort of breaking news. Israel's in a new defense. They're coming out. They're making it clear this is what we're going to do. In regards to Lebanon, we're going to build 12 outposts that will be built on, catch this, Lebanese soil along the borders of Israel, one opposite of each one of our Israeli settlements. And we're going to build 9 outposts in the territory of Syria, of which, again, one of them will be the former Syrian stronghold of Mount Hermon. So Israel's saying, you know what? We're going to get a buffer zone. We're not going to allow what took place on October 7th in Gaza to happen. So we are going to build these outposts, and we'll see how that goes. And then, of course, the big news over the weekend. I keep losing track as far as what day it is. But over the new year, we have that concept of globalizing the Intifada. So whether it's Las Vegas or whether it's New Orleans, you'll see the pictures here where we know about the pickup truck that mowed down, and I think we're dealing with 12 to 15 fatalities, over 30 plus people that were injured in the shooting in New Orleans. And then, of course, we have the Las Vegas cyber Tesla truck or whatever exploding in front of the Trump hotel there. And again, here it is. Everyone's, the FBI or who's ever in charge and coming from the Biden administration, it basically, at what point will authorities actually say that these two incidents are actually connected? Charlie Kirk, basically, he's made the statement, everybody's acting alone, except for the fact that the two suspects acted on the same day, they rented their cars from the same company, and they served on the same military base. Coincidence? I don't think so. We're seeing the globalizing. This is in our own backyard. And I'm not sure we're over it at this particular time. Hostage deal. Let's talk a little bit about the hostage situation now. This is from our friend Amir Tsarfati. He says it's time that everyone stops talking about the potential hostage deal. Despite the rhetoric that Hamas spews out, a deal will never happen because they don't want it to happen. They know that as soon as they release the hostages, their time is up. And so the sand is running out of the hourglass. There's desperation. Trump is saying, you better let him go or all hell will break loose. That's 18 days away now? So out of desperation, we're not sure what's going to happen, but remember the nature of terror. Provide hope. Let people believe. We'll tell you our sob sad story, but then we'll pull the carpet out from under you. And that's exactly what has been taking place. Now, from Amir's standpoint, he's saying, don't get your hopes up. Now, from Israel Katz, defense minister in Israel, his comments are, if Hamas does not release the 100 hostages it's been holding for over 454 days, and if they don't halt its rocket attacks on the Jewish state, remember on New Year's Eve, they've launched 2 rockets from Gaza they were aiming for central Israel, and we know that there are rockets that are falling, quote, in open fields. But if they don't halt that, he goes on to say, Israel will deal with the situation with blows with a force that has not yet been seen in Gaza for a long time. And this was comments made on Wednesday. The IDF will intensify its activities against the terror nests in Gaza until the release of the hostages and the elimination of Hamas. So, again, the sabers are rattling, the cauldron is boiling over, and we can only just wait and see. Tragic revelations has kind of come across my desk. Did you know that there were, this is again from our friend Amir Tsarfati, he says, there's 2 things that I've just learned from a senior retired police officer that I didn't know regarding October 7th. Both of the details were hidden from the public until now. Number 1, 600 people were beheaded during that terrible massacre. Let that sink in. Beheaded. Number two, it wasn't just Hamas. The military wing of the PLO, who are in a sense the opponents of Hamas, or we're led to believe that, part of the Palestinian Authority, heavily funded by America and Europe, they took an active role in the massacres of that day. So, is there a chance for a two-state solution? Is there a chance for peace? There's no way that we can ever have peace with these monsters. Again, from our friend Amir. And then Hezbollah, because again, back to what we mentioned in our news bites, that ceasefire is rapidly coming closer to an end, that 60-day ceasefire. And Hezbollah's Mahmoud Komati has stated that they're going to fulfill the commitment of the ceasefire, the 60 days. But he goes on to say that day number 61 will be different. He claimed that Hezbollah would not accept in any way Israeli military presence in South Lebanon. And then he goes on to say that if that's the case, and remember, we just talked about Israel building outposts on Lebanese soil, the Hezbollah official threatens that it will resume its attacks against the Jewish state if the Israeli military does not withdraw its forces from southern Lebanon. And he boasted that Hezbollah still has a significant arsenal of rockets, missiles, and drones. And so, once again, we're going to have to take that wait and see what's going to transpire at this particular time. But threats are being made. And then finally, Iran in this situation, this, as you know, is the head of the snake. But the question is being raised, has Iran already become a nuclear power following what seems to be successful nuclear tests that they've done? And there's, in the bulk of this article, and again, that's why I say get the PDF, you can read about tests that were done, the effects of underground facilities and magnitudes of sort of earthquakes or whatever. And so the thought is that they may already be a nuclear power. And unless Israel strikes very soon, the world's going to wake up to a nuclear Iran. All right, that's our report for this week. Let me go on to say this. Going to Israel on March 6th through the 16th. Want to take a small group with us to walk the land. We call this tour the land, the people, and the king. So again, just want to encourage you to pray about joining us. For Sharon and I, we know that 2025 will probably be the last two official Holy Ground tours that we put together. We'll continue, no doubt, to go to Israel as long as we're alive. But the bottom line here is that these will be the last two official Holy Ground tours. One here in the spring of March 6th through the 16th, and then one in the fall. We don't have dates yet for that. But just a reminder, we treat each one of these trips as if it could be our last one. And many of you, friends, I know that many of you that have watched this, part of our global KFIR community, have said, hey, when I go, I want to make sure I go with you. Let me tell you, we're going in March, and this could be it. So please pray about joining us. With that, God bless you and shalom, and pray for the release of the captives, for the peace of Jerusalem, and for both of our countries. Amen.